This is Television Nigerian reaching you live from our Hilltop studios in Gozape, Abuja, the nation's capital. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, the 27th day of January 2021. You are on to Press Talk, that platform where we always bring fresh to you what the tabloids, what the national dailies are printing, especially on what is happening in Nigeria and all over the globe. We always bring it to you hot and fresh, and this is the platform you get it all. And today, we are going to be talking specifically about one issue that by now should be on the lips of everybody, talking about the service chiefs. Yes, the service chiefs. We have new service chiefs, new expectations, especially when it comes to security in Nigeria, because security is everyone's business. Welcome once again. I am Charles Ibe, and I'm not going to be alone today as usual. I have two gentlemen in the studio, and we are privileged to this morning, especially because of the occasion. We'll have our senior correspondent, not just correspondent, defense correspondent. He has been there, he has done that, and he was just short of holding the gun in the theater of operations. You understand? He has dodged the bullets and all of that. He knows so much about the military and what they go through, and he will be also giving us insights on what to expect from the new service chiefs. Welcome on board, Mr. Lawrence.
It's a great pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. And of course, our regular, Daniel Atai.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, audience.
Yeah. Good morning once again, Nigerians. Yes, it's a new dawn. Should you say a new dawn? Because we have new men at the helms of affairs. Nigerians have agitated so much. So many stakeholders have talked about change the service chiefs, change the service chiefs. It became a song somehow. The National Assembly, anybody that mounts any table of discourse, especially when there's security issues, the next thing you hear is change the service chiefs. Before we get to look at how the papers are representing it this morning, Mr. Lawrence, how did you get that news? Of course, you are an insider, so how did it come to you, aside from whatever?
It didn't come to me as so much of a surprise when I got the news, because the outgoing service chiefs have done creditably well. They have performed, in a way that you can just say is remarkable.
Of course.
Don't forget where we're coming from before now. I always try to make people understand.
Yeah.
The northeast of Nigeria at the time, that is with a landmass of twice the size of Belgium, was occupied by the Boko Haram terrorists. You can imagine a landmass twice the size of Belgium. 17 local governments were under the control of Boko Haram. They ran and hoisted their flags. At that time, we had a government in Nigeria. We also had a military. But we saw what happened from 2015 with the emergence of General Buratai, General Olonishakin, Sadiq Abubakar, and Ete-Ibas, heading the services, the command services respectively. We saw how it happened. General Adeosun was at the time the GOC-7 You saw the way he began to move under the command of General Buratai. But we have stopped talking about the successes. We have stopped talking about Boko Haram hoisting flags.
Exactly.
We have stopped talking about
military reclaiming those
reclaiming those territories. And all of a sudden, Boko Haram does not hold any territory again. Only about 2 months ago, we did a tour of 5 of the northeastern states, including Borno, Yobe, Gombe, Adamawa, Taraba, Bauchi. We went to all these places by road, no military escorts. Yes, there are isolated attacks once here and there, where they have been reduced to ragtags. Those days they were like a conventional rebel army. Now they needed to hide in shrubs, attack soft targets, and then return back.
Return back again, retreat.
Now nobody is talking about all this. If you understand the working in the military, you will get to know that it is a whole load upon these guys. Some of them, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., when we are filing reports or filing stories, most of them are awake, away from their families. I don't know any senior officer in the Nigerian military that the family lives with them. Some of them, when they come to the office, they have a bag packed by the side. Because at that point, any time,
They are always...
they are always on the go. So, this same group of people, let's also commend them for their
what
job.
they've done.
The noise coming from Nigerians, you know, unfortunately, mostly we're political.
Yeah.
Now look at the new set of service chiefs that have just been appointed yesterday. Also very wonderful officers.
All right, we'll get into the details of those. We are also going to read out some of their profiles so that Nigerians who don't know will know and also see their pictures to know what to expect from them. But Mr. Daniel, he has spoken very well of the service chiefs, and also the president yesterday, according to the news we had, commended them, spoke very, very highly of them. He has always had their back, you understand, always shown them support and all of that. So how did their news, this engagement and the having new helmsmen on the board, how did you generally sum up the odds?
Actually, it came to me like a shock because I wasn't expecting their resignations. I wasn't expecting it. Like genuine analysts have said several times that you juxtapose, antecedents and then what is also available, logistics and information management, what is available for the service chiefs to work with, intelligence, and then most importantly, if there is political sabotage, when you begin to play politics like we see in our own sphere here, where partisan politicians begin to use security as a means of winning elections or a means of denting people's credibility and hard-earned reputations and antecedents, you begin to see that there will be disenfranchisement of the officers from their normal duties that are played between the service chiefs. And of course, you don't change a winning team. If you have first 11 that are competent. I'm a Barcelona fan, for instance, and I'm also a Lobby Star fan.
Okay, thank God you came home.
Yes, when you have a winning team that is so formidable,
there's no need to
changing them. I think that was the area the president was looking at and elongated their tenure. But you see, advanced countries, you could even allow service chiefs to outlive their tenure. You must not relieve them, because the longer they stay, if they are performing, the better the security network and cohesion. But over here, we look at everything like politics tenure. There are countries where even their presidents are still sitting after 41 years, 38 years. People are not complaining. They are in Africa here.
All right. But that's not the new norm.
Well, I congratulate the new service chiefs. I also commend the outgoing service chiefs. It is not easy.
It's not easy.
I grew up in the barracks. I am used to military lifestyles and engagement. So I really would commend them. We could now sleep. It's just for them to come now and finish the work.
Exactly.
Finish the rest of the work. The work has been done already. Just dot the I's and cross the T's.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We will also go to details of what the papers are saying, especially pertaining to the service chiefs, their appointment. But before that, let's just take today, the 27th of January, is the International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, day that remembers the tragedy of the Holocaust that happened during the Second World War.
Yes.
Yeah, that led to the loss of about 6
Million
million
Jews.
Jews and about 11 million others under the Nazi regime and all of that. It all talked about war and insecurity and all of that. So today that we are commemorating Holocaust Day, we are celebrating our new service chiefs. So it's a correlation because it all boils towards an event that happened in the past, and you've just read out how the soldiers has been trying to keep Nigeria united. So what can we take out of all of that, all going to the unity we have in Nigeria?
You see, when you remembering the World Holocaust Day, as the case may be, it's a reminder that in Nigeria, if we are not careful, we might end up having something very close to that. Already, all the pointers, are indicating such already. You have the Eastern Security Network that have been armed by who I don't know. A group that is being, organized by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. All right?
Separatist
ideology. And they said they now have a vigilante group, train them in the forest, arm them with AK-47 assault rifles. I've never seen where such happened under any guise. Yes, we had the Amotekun arrangement where it was a function of a legislation. The governors in that region came up and they said, look, we need to, complement the efforts of the federal government in providing security. This region, we have thought of it, and then we think that we should have a small outfit that will help, protect farmers against rustlers or headsmen or whoever they are, violent crimes. And they came up with a legislation that was backed by law, and they established that. Now, how did you establish the Eastern Security Network? Already, they are already having confrontation with the security services.
Yes.
It is not done anywhere. It is a recipe for violence. It is a recipe for Holocaust. If we do not begin to, tell ourselves some home truths and then keep politics away from security issues, we are going to have that. And then I keep reminding people anytime, any day that I have the opportunity. Nigeria is about the largest, the most populated country in Africa. It is the most populous black nation in the world. The Nigerian society, we are diverse. Our diversity is our strength. Exactly. Now, in a situation where you have any form of crisis in Nigeria, the refugee flow will be massive. Is it Benin Republic that will
run to, or is it Cameroon?
Is it Cameroon? Is it Niger? Is it Chad? Or we're going to run into the Atlantic Ocean? Nobody can accommodate Nigerian refugee. As it stands now, there's a global crisis, global refugee crisis, around the world. The UN and other, development partners have been trying to see how they can raise funds to feed people who are already suffering. Look at the Tigray region in Ethiopia. Look at what's happening in South Sudan, the Western Darfur region. Look at Mali, the separatist ideology taking place in Mali. Look at Burkina Faso. Everywhere we have these issues. Libya is not out of it too.
Even Cameroon too.
Even Cameroon, they already have a secessionist movement, the Ambazonians, in the Anglophone part of Cameroon. They are trying to secede. Now, if we don't draw the lessons from the Holocaust and begin to warn ourselves, politicians, leaders of thought, when they are, to address people or to say anything on Twitter, on social media, or anywhere, they have to be very careful.
Very, very, very
and I think the Nigerian security architecture, the system, just allows anybody to say things the way they want to say.
Freedom of speech.
Femi Fani-Kayode will wake up, say his own. Dele Momodu will wake up, say their own. Today, somebody is raving mad in the southwest in the name of, he has made himself a kind of a warlord, sort of. And everyone is just watching him. The IGP has issued, a directive that he should be arrested. Yesterday, after his house was burnt, he addressed the press. What kind of...
the society there is already giving him a status and even a protection for him to even address the press.
That is what it means. So if we are not very careful, when this thing falls on us, at that time, the people instigating us, there will be no... They are safe in all their zones. They are not here.
All right. Mr. Dan, anything to add on the Holocaust before we go to the papers?
Oh, well, Holocaust is a serious, or was a serious issue to be remembered. It was a serious, pathetic situation against the Jews. I call it hate war. It was more or less a hate war.
Based on racism.
Based on racism, just like we have hate speech today. Adolf Hitler and some of the pact with the 11 Arab nations then. There used to be 12 princes of Israel, 12 princes of the Arab nation. Today, the Holocaust brought a dichotomy, a clear one, that still linger on till today. The issue of the Jewish settlement that metamorphosed to become Europe. Originally, we know that they are Arabians
exactly.
within the Emirate, the Gulf nation. But today they are Europe, just like Turkey. So, if
even Israel.
Israel originally, most of their grandfather migrated from Iraq. They are Babylonians.
That's historic.
Historically.
The historical background of them. So, and then the land was taken. It's a God gave them the land. According to all the books, even in the Quran, we have the history of the migration. And then which people originally possessed this land. That was the history that led to the Holocaust. Let's wipe them off the surface
and reclaim
the land. And God has been with them. Today, the population is a little bit above 7 million, but after that Holocaust, after that Sobibor experience in Germany and several areas that they suffered, they came again and they become formidable today. They are pioneers, inventors of several scientific and modern technological advancement in the world, in all spheres. So you could imagine that kind of comeback. That is the point I respect the Jewish people.
Anyway, in addition to that, in addition to talking about the Holocaust, I still feel that the Jewish people, especially those ones occupying the Palestinian lands, they have no business in those areas. It's like they have not really learned from the experiences of the Holocaust. Unfortunately, it might not just be a popular view, but I hold brief for it. The truth of the matter is, even after the Holocaust, even after the Jewish people suffered, terribly in the hands of Adolf Hitler, they are already meting the same kind of punishment to the Palestinians who own the land in those areas. It's quite unfortunate that the world is, silent about this and then aiding and abetting war crimes being committed by Israel at this moment. It's quite unfortunate. It may not be a popular view, but I think that the building of settlements in Gaza Strip and the whole of Ramallah and the West Bank area, Israel should desist from such because they are actually committing war crimes in those places.
But if you want us to go detail on that, they were all brothers.
Well, this may not be the
that would be a subject for
discussion
for another day.
We can always talk about it.
Yes, we can always talk about this, but it's also very apt that today that the world is commemorating the Holocaust, that we also use that opportunity to speak to any warmonger in Nigeria, any individual, whether still dreaming about war, or talking about war, or doing acts that might lead to war.
Actually,
please.
some of these people that all these warmongers that you see, they have never seen crisis in their life.
We have gotten new service chiefs now. So let them come and try now.
I suffered.
There are so many things I want to say.
I suffered in Jos during the crisis in 2001. When September 7th, it's a day I will never forget in my life. There are so many people that I know that were killed you know. And then we were starved. At the time, we didn't even have GSM network, so we couldn't even make calls to anybody for assistance. People died. There was curfew imposed, and we couldn't go out to buy anything. We were home. People were hungry. You could imagine a situation like that. Okay, the dream of war. Even you that is shouting on Twitter, you know, some people just wake up for the fact that they even have network on their phone is a problem. They begin to, you know, tweet trash, you know, drumming up for war and all that. If there's sea crisis, they cannot stand. In one of my visits to the front lines, each time we have the opportunity to travel and we get down there, you know, the period of time you are spending with the troops on the front lines, you are eager to return back to where you are staying. But these are people who have been there for months, some of them for years.
And they don't even know when they are.
They don't know when.
They are going.
Your own, the highest is that you spend a day, 2, 3, and then you are back maybe to your family. Yeah, to your family or back in this. Yeah, you know. And then you can imagine these people, these are families, are people who have families, they have children, they have parents, they have wives.
Loved ones.
And their loved ones in the barracks. And they are over there. And then we keep creating more problems for them. The intelligence community actually failed in their own bid to, provide intel for, to avert some of these issues. When the Eastern Network were recruiting and training, if you go to my Twitter handle, when that video was found, I tweeted it immediately. And some people came and disputed it. Some came and spoke for,
Yeah.
That thing shouldn't have even happened. They shouldn't have even got into that camp in the first place.
So, all right, we can only say peace is priceless. Terror and war is senseless. So let's not even think of anything that will lead to a Holocaust. The life of every single individual matters. So we can't wait for peace and lasting peace to return in Nigeria and remain permanently Nigeria and all over the world. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll hit the papers and find out what they are printing. Join us again. Thanks for joining us once again, and this is Press Talk, in case you are just joining us. And this is the time we'll go to the front pages of the newspapers to find out what the dailies are writing about. And today we'll be starting with the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune is the first paper we'll be looking at. And as expected, the service chiefs is making the headline. As Buhari appoints new service chiefs, that's the red written there, SMBLF, Pandev, Wike, Wodo, APC, PDP, React, set agenda. Who are all these people? Who are all these groups? Find out on page 2. And also, what are the agendas they are setting for the new service chiefs? It will be interesting for you to read up for yourself so that you know the perspective they are coming from. And then below that, and besides the picture story, you have kidnappers abduct 14 at gunpoint in Kogi. And under that, it's a murder, three kids, 8 others die in accidents in Benue. Wow, you have to find the details on the Nigerian Tribune. Above the masthead, you have COVID-19, CBN to roll out further palliatives. CBN to roll out further palliatives. What are the palliatives? Go to the Tribune to find out the details of what the government, the CBN is planning. And then also you have there, we have, or give insight into Igboho's house fire incident.
That's police.
The police.
Fire service.
Yeah, they give insight into the, if we go to the page 4 of the Tribune, to go and get the details there. Below the masthead, we have quit notice to headsmen, unity of Nigeria, paramount. That's the FG saying that. Page 5 has the details. 1 killed, many injured as police clash with shiites in Abuja. Also go to page 5. The page 6 has the details. Buhari directs Naseni to produce helicopter. Buhari directs Naseni to produce helicopter. Okay, go to that story on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. And also the picture story we'll have there. Those are the new faces that will be manning our security, the new service chiefs, and we also have their profiles. So go to page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune to look at what the paper is writing about. We have the Punch. Let's look at the front page of the Punch, because when we come back, we are just going to go straight to talking about the security chiefs. The Punch newspaper has also on their front page, 20 generals may go as Buhari replaces Buratai, service chiefs. 20 generals may go. They didn't say will, may. And there's a lot of riders to that story. So go to, pick up the Punch newspaper to read details. And you have above that, ex-Zamfara governor Yari forfeits embezzled 284 million naira to FG. 284 million naira to be forfeited by a former governor. Find out the details. And slash on imported vehicles duties begins next week. That's customs giving out that, should I say good news? Yeah, you have to go to the Punch newspaper to find out details. Exporters, importers woes worsening at ports, laments LCCI. That's the story also in the Punch newspaper. We will also let's look at This Day. This Day newspaper, the front page of This Day. Miyetti Allah agrees with governors in ban of open grazing. That's what you have there on the front page of that paper there. Now, we have a lot of papers, and almost all of them are talking about the service chiefs. So I don't think we have to go through all the newspapers so that we'll do justice to this topic that we're looking at today. The service chiefs, they are the main things, that's the major news. And also we've seen some people trying to set an agenda for the service chiefs, what to do, what not to do, taking an insight from the outgone service chiefs. But first, who are these service chiefs we are talking about? We'll have to quickly give a brief profile of these service chiefs so that you know who they are, a little bit about them, and then from there, you also have to set your own agenda for them. But before we get to that, we've seen some of the stories making the rounds in the newspaper. The one that caught me, aside from the service chiefs, because we are going to discuss that majorly, the president's directive to Naseni to produce helicopters.
In fact, that one got me too. I was already holding forth to rule. Yeah, you know, we have agencies established by governments, you know, with support of public funds. These guys, if you go to their offices, they drive the best cars. You know, allowances are agreeable to them, paid, nice offices and all that. You know, but you begin to ask. There is one they say Automobile Council or something just around the Apple here. What automobile? What have they produced? You just set up agencies, and these agencies keep gulping
billions.
Yeah,
in the
but
budget.
Naseni actually has been doing very well in terms of assisting with innovations in technology. But you see, that order given to them by the president is a very tall one. We want to see a situation where we begin to, even if we cannot produce fighter helicopters, there should be helicopters for emergency use. Yeah. Where, you know, NEMA can, you know, have access to.
Exactly. The police as well.
The police, federal fire. You know, we're already having high-rise buildings you know, right now in the country. And, you know, helicopters that can be used for emergency operations and responses and, you know, and for transportation too. So it's a very tall order. yes, we have given you money, we have funded your agency. It's not about, media hype or attending conferences or organizing symposiums and workshops up and down. Do the job, let's see.
Exactly.
Well, the directive by Mr. President to the National Agency for Science and Innovations, to me, is a good one, but we have seen that the military, before now, under General Boratai, had in one state, I think Kaduna State and Ogun State, military hardware manufacturing company or resort.
Command Engineering Depot.
Yes. So even the Nigerian Armed Forces were already manufacturing armored vehicles, manufacturing some hardwares, compatibilities for this aircraft already that we know. The incoming ones or the new service chiefs could take it up from there and ensure that we have dependable and affordable military hardware instead of always depending on foreign aid, especially when the logistics could be very, very difficult because of bureaucracy, international bureaucracy from the United Nations and some countries who always look at Nigeria as they must bring it down. So if we depend on our hardware, which I know the administration of the immediate service chiefs, they have established such things already. I think we have Innocent partnering with
Innocent partnering, and then you have this Command Engineering Depot. Then Proforce is actually a private company that partners with the military, providing armored vehicles. And then the military went ahead by producing. There's a special armored vehicle that is called the Mine Resistance Ambush Protected Vehicle. That's the AMRA. It's so sophisticated that even a ballistic, even a landmine,
manufactured here in Nigeria under Boratai.
And
so when I look at those
in charge
things,
of that is one Major General Victor Ezugu,
you see,
who is the
Southeastern
produced it, and it was named after him, and the president commissioned that vehicle himself.
That is it.
And already a rows of those vehicles are,
I have seen those vehicles. I have seen those hardwares that are on Nigerian Army are manufacturing. Let me say the armed forces are manufacturing here. That is what we call, they said, invention is the what?
Is the mother of necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah. So it was necessitated that yes, if you can't get what you want at the right time from foreign nations, you are an institution. You could create your own. So I applaud the service chief, and especially for that innovation. It was timely, and I believe that the new ones will continue from there.
All right, thank you very much. Now, after 66 months in holding sway, manning the security architecture at various points, the Navy, the Army, and all of that, they finally bowed out yesterday. I saw some conflicting stories as of that yesterday. Some are saying sacked, some saying removed, some saying, and then of course the resignation. With so many stories all around that. But the major thing is that Lieutenant General Tukuburatai and his team are out. They've retired actually. They're out of the service right now, and we have new hands to man Nigeria's security architecture. Now, who are these people? Let's get to look at some of them so that you can also see some of the pictures of our new service chief. Now, starting with the Chief of Army Staff, who is Major General Ibrahim Atahiru. Now, he was born on August 10, 1966, and hails from Kaduna State. Prior to his appointment, he was the head of the 82 Division of the Nigerian Army. Now, in May 2017, he was appointed to lead the war against Boko Haram in the northeast, but was later replaced with General Nicholas Rogers and redeployed by the then Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuburatai, after giving him a deadline in July to deliver Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau dead or alive within 40 days, which did not happen. Now, That is Major General Ibrahim Attahiru, the new Chief of Staff. You can see his picture there. If you don't know, look at him now. I'm looking out for him. Pray for him. Give him your support.
Now the onus is vested on him now.
Yes.
So he failed that time. So they have given him the onus. So we believe that this time he will not fail.
Now,
actually, the media was not fair to Attahiru at all. What happened was, yes, he was the theater commander, Operation Lafia Dole in Maiduguri, and yes, there was an instruction at a time, but it would be very unfair to say he failed.
Okay.
The media, didn't report that thing properly. Punch yesterday online said a failed general reappointed as Chief of Army Staff. How can you say a thing like that? General Attahiru, for God's sake, was redeployed from the Northeast Theater of Operation to handle higher operations.
Exactly.
Don't forget that he is the same guy who was moved to Operation Safe Corridor. Operation Safe Corridor is not within the purview of the Nigerian Army. It's at the UN level, if you want to say that, because Safe Corridor, encompasses a lot of agencies.
Yeah.
So their own were to comply with the rules of engagement. If a terrorist surrenders, you must apply the rules by picking them up and rehabilitating them, and reintegrating them back into the society to become good people again. So he has succeeded in doing that, and he has been doing it with the other agencies that are responsible. So for the media to say he was sacked because he couldn't, no, he was actually redeployed, which is a routine activity in the military.
So it wasn't like a failure.
Yesterday, some people say they were sacked. No, how do you sack somebody whose tenure, was extended several times?
Several times, exactly.
I mean, everything that has a beginning must surely have an end. So when it got to that point, yeah, they were relieved of their appointment.
Contradictions in the media.
Yes, and then bias in
unpatriotic reportage.
Unpatriotic reportage. Because this thing, whatever we do, if we support the military, it's not about the man who is there.
Exactly.
It is about the destiny of our country.
Exactly.
If you see that we are passionate about reporting the military, factually, and trying as much as possible to be balanced, and also trying, to boost their morale at every opportunity that we have. It is a patriotic duty. It's a civic duty. That is what the media, everywhere in the world, in every civilized democracy, do. In the US, you saw it.
Permit me, sir.
There's a point I want to make.
As an expert in this field, defense correspondent, some headlines are still bringing this nepotistic politics into the military.
Actually, you cannot do away with all that.
Okay,
sometimes.
With regards to the appointment of the service chiefs, especially the exclusion of the southeastern region.
No, let's not go there yet. We are going to get to that. When we have the profile of all of them, then we'll now talk about are they balanced? But what I wanted to ask, I got into an argument yesterday. You have been in the military. You've interacted with them, you've seen their psyche and all of that. Someone was saying, especially about Attahiru, that he was, okay, fine, you've already put it in perspective now. I said he was fired for non-performance, and now the person that fired him is stepping down and he's coming back. You mentioned that, that he's worried there's going to be vendetta and all of that. Do you have such things in the army?
Vendetta against who?
Against, what we have.
In the military is a chain of command.
Okay.
There can be no vendetta. In what sense?
Okay, perhaps all of them that he perceives close to Buratai. Now I have to get back to.
No, but in every normal, no, I don't see that coming in. Nobody.
But do you have such sentiments or no? Is there a template like that in the Nigerian army?
As at this morning, I still pulled calls through to a lot of our colleagues, our friends, who intermediate between us and the higher authorities. And then we kept talking. I do not see anything like sentiments in any way. Yes, the truth of the matter is, if you have a group of people who serve the outgoing chief of army staff, for instance, as principal staff officers.
Exactly.
Those were his team. And those other people have people who worked with them.
Like their squad.
Yeah, don't use squad.
So it's expected
It's a
that
team. Don't use
each
squad.
person, and the incoming person has to come with his own
No, he will
people.
come with his own team, and you'll be very surprised that the same team that he is going to form, many people from the same team, that from the present team, because there's war going on.
Yeah.
And you have to bring in people who
Right.
have experience. Now, the only thing is that you are going to hear that some generals will go.
About
Now,
20 or so have been penned
actually, not penned down.
Okay.
It is a normal routine in the military. If your senior or your junior, for instance, is
Gets
appointed, if your junior is appointed, for instance, this man is cost 35.
Yes.
So if you appoint somebody in cost 35, the next cost is going to be 36. Is that not so? Now, all his mates, the ones that were, senior to him, will go naturally. From the ones from him down, stay. Even in the same class, in the same course, there are enrollment numbers now. That's how it is done. So you cannot pay compliment to your junior.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not done.
That's the philosophy
So it
behind-
the officers are gentlemen, and they are brave. So when it comes to that point, whatever you are doing there, you are the one who can explain. From that,
yourself.
automatically you know that chain has gone. But those ones that are his mates, he can, he knows them. They know themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, can you help me handle this division? You help me handle this. You help me handle this. So naturally, those ones who are their seniors automatically retired. So there's no sentiment anywhere. The same guys who were even part of the team now, if they are still, relevant,
they will still
retain some of them. So it's not. Nobody should suggest
based
that.
on
It's
performance
not.
and
Yes.
not
On administrative
vendetta
level or on command level.
Both command and administration.
All right.
Command, operation, and administration.
That is why it's always good to always have things in perspective,
Yes.
and then hear from sources. So that people don't take some strange
Exactly.
theories to town, and before you know it begins to run with it. Okay, now let's look at the Chief of Air Staff. That's Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Amao. He was born on 14 September 1965 at Enugu, but hails from Oshogbo local government area of Osun State. Now, we're talking about the Air Vice Marshal Alao.
Yes.
You understand? So, prior to his appointment as Chief of Air Staff, Amao was the Commandant Armed Forces Resettlement Center in Lagos State. He was enlisted into the Nigerian Air Force on January 19th, 1984 as a member of the 35 regular course of the Nigerian Defense Academy. Amao previously served as trainee/squadron pilot, Nigerian Air Force Unit 99 KNG, that's from 1993 to 2004. He also was instructor pilot/squadron pilot, 301 FTS Kaduna, that's from 2004 to 2007. He was Air Assistant to Chief of Air Staff, Deputy Defense Advisor. He also Nigerian High Commission, or the Deputy Defense Advisor, Nigerian High Commission, London, and also Assistant Director of Operations Defense Headquarters and Director of Policy and Plans, Nigerian Air Force. He attended several military courses, which includes Junior Division course at Armed Forces Command Staff College, that's in Jaji, and also Senior Division course at Defense Services Staff College, India, Defense course at National Defense University, China, Aircraft Accident Investigations in Civil Airline at NCAT Zaria, and Aircraft Accident Investigations course at Karachi, Pakistan. Now, if you talk about training, if you talk about competence, I think Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Aladayo Amao, who is the new Chief of Air Staff, has it. Now,
You see, the Nigerian Air Force has been one amongst the luckiest services in Nigeria. He is coming to inherit a very good platform because the outgoing Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has laid a very good foundation.
Yeah.
Now, in the last few months, you will be hearing about area bombardments, even along this Kaduna-Abuja expressway, in some forest in Kaduna, in parts of the northeast, in the northwest, and other parts of the country. The Air Force has upped their game, recently under Sadiq Abubakar. And they've also inducted a series of fighter aircraft, And then, after negotiating good deals, that the federal government has procured the Tucano fighter and a reconnaissance aircraft that are coming in. The Tucanos are about one of the best fighter aircraft for reconnaissance missions that you have, world over. Now, General Marshal Amao is coming in to inherit that. And again, being a pilot trainee, he has also flown thousands of miles too, even though that was not mentioned in the brief biography. He's also a pilot himself.
Wow.
With that...
Fighter pilot?
Yes, a fighter pilot. You can't even ascend to becoming the air chief without being a pilot. You must, have undergone such training. And he was Air Officer Commanding Tactical Air Command, Makurdi, even before this appointment. So for you to head those sensitive, he was Chief of Policy Plans and what have you, in the Defense Headquarters. Makurdi is very specific because that is like the war college of the Air Force,
exactly.
the war battleground, tactical air command. For you to command such, you must be, strong and then well experienced. So the Air Force is also very lucky for having Air Vice Marshal Amao.
So you say it's a square peg in a square hole.
Exactly.
All right.
I think he has said it all.
Okay, let's look at the next, the Chief of Naval Staff. That is Rear Admiral Eze Gambo. A.Z. Gambo, that's the Chief of Naval Staff. Now, Gambo was born on April 22nd, 1966, and he hails from Nasarawa local government area of Kano State. Prior to his appointment by Buhari, he was the Director of Procurement at the Defense Space Administration. He got enlisted into the Nigerian Navy on September 24, 1984, as a member of Regular Course 36 and was commissioned Sub-Lieutenant on September 24, 1988. Gambo is an underwater warfare specialist with a sub-specialization in intelligence. He also attended several military courses, which include sub-technical course and officers' long course, both at NNS Quora. He also attended Juniors Division 48, 49, and Senior Course 26, both at AFSC, Jaji, that's Armed Forces
Commander Staff
College, Jaji. He also attended the National Defense Course at the South African National Defense College. Now you have him, Rear Admiral Awal Zubeiru Gambo, the Chief of Naval Staff. Now, one thing that hits me is that all these people are qualified by training, and training. Because going by the profile we just read. And like we said before, square holes, square pegs in square holes. Now, how did you think, what would you say about the hand picking of these guys? They say these are the, what did they say, the pleasure of the president.
The prerogative.
Prerogative of the president to pick these people. Now, the ones we've read so far, we've seen competence, we've seen qualification, we've seen experience.
Before the head of state appoints anybody into command position in the armed forces, CVs would have been presented before him. And experiences, these guys, even sometimes they don't even know. Majority of them, it will come to them as a surprise. CVs have been, presented, and then you look at them from for all. It's not about reading from their CVs now. For us, these are some people that we know. You can
attest to their.
Yes, when you ask, like at the naval headquarters yesterday, I mean, there was some form of jubilation. It was a mixed feeling,
Yeah.
Those ones, I mean, this man is going, oh, well, okay. He was too, the outgoing naval chief is also a silent achiever. So Zubairu is coming in, to fill in, to continue in that, direction. He, the former chief of naval staff, was, instrumental in protecting the Nigerian coastal waterways. For a very long time, we have not had issues of piracy.
Yes.
In fact, recently, the Beninois naval units contacted one of our NNS and, for rescue, because, pirates had hijacked some Chinese and Filipino vessels. The Nigerian Special Boat Service, it's a special unit like this, like the SEAL in the US, the Special Boat Service, SBS, Special Forces. However they got in, seized.
They retrieved those.
They retrieved and rescued those guys. Okay. And countless of these things are happening. The Nigerian Special Forces in the Navy have, participated creditably well in the Northeast also, because they are trained to fight even on land.
Yeah. I can attest to that yes, competency in the armed forces, we have them. Even beyond being competent, willingness are also there.
Yes.
In the
Born
Nigerian,
out of training, right?
Yes, born out of
the
training.
Nigerian armed forces. It is in fact uncomparable to even the first world countries. You know why? Because these guys have advanced technology that we don't have yet. You understand? Yet, look
training
at
is helping us to achieve.
Training, what training has helped us to achieve.
Yes.
And the rate of crime we have within this axis of Africa, you can't compare it to the kind of crimes they have over there. So the armed forces, they are actually doing a great job. They are doing their best, and I think they need commendation. However, where you have lapses among them, it is because of infiltration of a political psychology that people bring in. Politicians, these guys are not a kind of commander-in-chief.
And the commander-in-chief is a politician.
The commander-in-chief is a politician. The state governors are politicians. The local government chairman, they are politicians. So the political mindset, because of the political bureaucracy into security operatives, is the fundamental problem that you have crisis across the region.
Okay.
If not, left for the military, within 24 hours,
they can quell any insurgency.
They can quell any insurgency and any crime.
Insurrection anywhere. All right, let's take a look at the final, last but not the least. That's the Chief of Defense Staff. We have Major General Leo Irabo. Major General Leo Irabo was born on October 5th, 1965. He hails from Ika, south of Delta State. Major General Leo Irabo is the latest Chief of Defense Staff, if you don't know, and a member of the regular course 39 of the Nigerian Defense Academy, as the NDA. He's a trained engineer, and he was the commander of Army's Training and Doctrine Command, TRADOC, with headquarters in Mina, Niger State. He also served as the Chief of Training and Operations, Defense Headquarters, and once served as the Theater Commander, Operations Lafayette Dole, and headed the Multinational Joint Task Force, MNJTF, as a field commander. Now, he is the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Lucky E.O. Irabo. Let's say congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. Maybe Lawrence should explain to us the difference between Chief of Defense Staff and Chief of Army Staff.
I was going to go there.
First of all, let me correct something. His name is not Leo.
Look, it's not Leo.
Those are abbreviations. It's Lucky Irabo. Okay. Lucky E.O. Irabo.
Okay.
The E stands, there are other tribal names.
Oh.
So
in the military, that not call him Leo.
In the military, they nickname him Leo.
Okay.
So most of the time, Leo.
Leo because of the initials.
They even have one they call Leo Company in the Northeast. I mean, while serving in the Multinational Joint Task Force. That's his company. He's always advancing. So when they say that's Leo's company, you know that, okay, that's it.
That is
So in military abbreviations, they don't dot. They don't put dots
in
the
between.
name. So if you have LEO, Lucky EO Irabo, so it's LEO Irabo, you simply say Lucky Irabo. Now, just like you have SK Usman and the rest of them. So, Chief of Defense Staff. The Chief of Defense Staff is the head of all the services. In fact, he even commands the paramilitary services too. They all pay compliment to him. At the moment when he takes office, he is currently a 2-star general. By virtue of that, he's a major general. So he's going to be very lucky not to even hang the rank of a lieutenant general. He will become a full general. That's a 4-star general. So he is next to the commander-in-chief in that regard, because the commander-in-chief is a 5-star general normally if he's to appear in the military fatigue. So he puts a 5-star.
That's the president now.
Yes. So General Rabo, he's going to become a 4-star general to command the services and also coordinate all other paramilitary operations.
Including the police force.
When I say operations, field operations is DHQ. So you may have your own internal arrangement that concerns your services, but when it comes to field, he is the commander. Then you have, the chief of army staff reports to him, the chief of naval staff reports to him, and the chief of air staff reports to him,
So
including
the chief of chiefs.
The chief of chiefs. But the president is the commander-in-chief.
Yes, that's why he's the
of
chief
all the
of
chiefs.
defense staff.
Yes, so defense and services headquarters, you have the Army, Air Force, and Navy in that regard. So he is the chief. So the chief of army staff heads the army and is a 3-star office. So those ones will be promoted to become lieutenant generals. So there are 3-star generals as the case may be.
Who was the former chief of defense staff?
Gabriel Olonishakin.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, now
I have one thing to still place that.
Okay.
Because now, where does the intelligence come in between them? Do we have chief of defense intelligence now?
Yes, there is chief of defense intelligence, but it's a very silent office. Sometimes you don't. They're just there. They've not appointed anybody, for us to know. No name has been announced. But there is chief of intelligence, of defense intelligence.
Key.
The intelligence community, the intelligence in today's warfare has been upped to a large extent. This is why you now hear of strikes by military and successes, because they gather intelligence from human intelligence, from communities and what have you. So it plays a very important role, and sometimes their offices are silent, kind of.
All right, now I've been, let me say, burning to ask this question. Throughout the agitations for replace the service chiefs, remove the service chiefs and all of that, and I always kept asking these questions. If you remove these people, is it not from the same military that you're going to get their replacements? Are you going to go to the moon to get a fresh set of people that will come, that have not seen and done? Now, what is it that they are going to do now that they couldn't do when they were under the command of these people that just left?
Actually, we have established at the beginning of this program that political leadership or political interest most of the time affects the operations of the military, which is not supposed to be in any way. Appointments of service chiefs ordinarily are, the prerogative of the commander-in-chief, like we also established. But it's because of political interference. Those people clamoring, it's possible that some politician somewhere feel that, oh, this is my friend, this is my brother, this man from our town, he's already getting too old. They may retire him soon. Oh no, let's change this guy. Maybe it will be his turn. So those calls mostly were, based out of sentiment and selfishness. Because at the time, up till now, I make bold to say it anywhere. I have said it, the crop of chiefs that have just been appointed, that we've reeled out their portfolio here. And some of them we know, all right, that they are, they're performed. Somebody like the chief of defense staff, Leo Irabo, who was the theater commander, we knew what he did, the advancements that took place. He was one of those people who helped to retrieve territories hitherto under the control of Boko Haram. The records are there. These are people who have, performed, outstandingly in the course of their career. Yes, because it was, like a team with the outgoing service chiefs, they had to put, all hands on deck, irrespective of whoever. Once you are qualified, you go there and you do the job. All right? So those kind of arguments don't hold water. Okay. Because these same guys, they did not pick anybody from Ghana to come and become service chief.
Yeah.
They didn't go to heaven to bring any angel to come and be service chief. It's still the same. In fact, as at yesterday while I was monitoring Twitter, the people now started saying, oh, no Igbo man there. So if I begin to complain and say there is no Idoma man there, where are we going to? Are we always going to? It is based on the hierarchy, the people,
and the competence,
and the competence. Not like you don't have senior officers, from the Eastern extraction that are not doing well. But if you look at it, are they next in line? That's the question. What happened in the Civil Defense Corps? When Ghana retired, when it was his time, obviously his tenure was not, shifted for him. He handed over to the most senior DCG under his command. And that one still had some years, to run before he retires. So he did the honorable thing. And that one is from the southeast. Nobody said anything. They all kept quiet.
Right. Okay. So now let's also look at the issue of agenda setting right now. You've also mentioned the fact this one has led Lafi Adole, this person has participated in this and all of that. They've all been there, they've done that. Now, what strategy would you envisage them bringing in that will get a different result so that at least we'll something that is
noises.
You see, no matter the strategy they bring, you are still going to hear noise. Let's have it on record today. No matter the strategy.
Is it because of the democratic dispensation?
It is the nature of Nigerians generally to complain. So long as it doesn't suit us at a particular time, we begin to complain. We must give these guys the support they need, especially we in the media. It is not about anybody. It is about the destiny, the peace and security of our country, Nigeria. It's not about who is there. It's about what we can do. How do we assist? So in setting agenda for them, well, I would want to see, a consolidation in what has already been achieved. I would want to see a situation where militants go into hiding. In fact, I want to see where they are disarmed, rehabilitated, because you can't kill all of them. That's just the truth. You don't know how many there are. So you can't just keep killing. You must, come in with human intelligence has to be improved. It started already. Civil-military relations has to also be improved. If you have civil-military relations, the communities are willing to give you information on who is a bandit in a particular community. So civil-military relations, human intelligence, and then continuous sustained pounding of these terrorists wherever they are.
All right, I would like mentioned. No, I want to give you a specific question because of your leanings. There's been so many that I saw through the papers, so we are calling on them to please ensure that politics do not get involved in your activities. Yes. And I will also establish the fact here that politics so much affects them. Now, how will you advise them to be apolitical, given the fact that their overall boss is a politician?
But don't forget that Punch always refers to him as Major General, so let's take him as...
Apart from the overall boss, we are in a security situation where the achievement so far is almost been destroyed by people raising ugly heads from different quarters, forming regional security networks. I would want them to not to be loyal to any governor of any state. There is a code of ethics and a code of conduct and a chain of command
and rules of engagement.
They should follow strictly the blueprint of their rules of engagement without compromising to political saboteurs or affiliations. Once they do that, they will succeed. But if they go to listen to political bureaucrats, then they will have problem again. So that is just my advice to them. We don't want to see any kind of security network, whether legislated, regional security network, is not supposed to happen. If you need more men in the army, recruit. If the Amotekun can be recruited into the army, if the ESN can be recruited into the army, trained professionals. Shege Kafasa, recruited into the army. Let them be trained, let them be professionals. If you want to mount your region, there are military barracks in all the states.
So there could be divisions.
There are divisions in all the zones, isn't it?
So these new ones can also form divisions.
Yes, there should be nothing like regional security networks so that people don't infiltrate and use them at will, and politicians use them. You can see the country is so politicized. The politics is hit up along ethnic lines. So let them hit the ground running, defy any command from any politician, whether he's the governor or the chief secretary of the state. You are answerable toward the commander-in-chief.
All right. So Lawrence, finally, I think between me and Daniel and you are the one that has been closer to these military people in terms of relations and all of that. Now, very key, military-civilian relations, and then especially intelligence gathering and all of that. So what will you now advise Nigerians, especially now you've seen what these guys go through in the theater of war, and then we are there, we've not seen, and we'll just shout and do stuff. So how would you advise Nigerians now, especially who have new service chiefs, on how to assist them to succeed?
Nigerians should do away with conspiracy theories. Nigerians should shun ethnicity or being ethnic bigotry, okay? And then Nigerians must, as a matter of fact, begin to support this new crop of service chiefs that have just been appointed. Nigerians should begin to look at the military as their own. See, in any country where you do not have military, or if the army, the Nigerian army, or any of the services is down, we are finished. We must desist from acts of polarizing them. I was reading through Twitter yesterday, and one guy said, useless army. How can you say that of your national army? What do you really want?
Because they have not been into the barracks or anywhere
okay,
before.
look at, in spite of all this noise that you're hearing, that's why you should know that the people making this noise, they are just being vocal, but they have no content and they are very few. They're only vocal and they have, maybe large following. So when they make noise, it escalates. The last recruitment of 80 regular recruit intake, do you know the millions of young Nigerians that applied for the job? Currently, forms are out for the Nigerian Defense Academy. And as it stands now, the website is slow because of the magnitude, the multitude of people who want to go in. So let's look beyond all this politics. Look, some of these people are just, majority of them are, maybe, would I say, frustrated, or people who do not even think about the well-being of this country. You just wake up and you begin to deride your military. It's not done. In the Western world, one of my mentors in the US, a professor in the University of Iowa, he told me one day that on his way, he was traveling from a particular country, I don't know where, but at St. Andrews Air Force Base in the United States. They had to stop them, from boarding their flight because there were a body of a soldier that was killed in Afghanistan was being flown home. They had to stand and pay respect to that young soldier. And they stood until the casket was lowered into the ambulance and until it moved. That was how, this is how these people value their military. So we must value these people.
Yes.
They are paying a lot of sacrifices for our sake.
All right, you've heard it. Please, Nigerians, we need to value our military. We need to own this military.
We need to be patriotic.
We need to be patriotic to the military, most especially assist them with valuable information. Moral support, it also counts, so that they are doing their best to make sure that the sovereignty and integrity of Nigeria remains. The unity we enjoy today is because of the sacrifices these men and women are putting out there for our sake. That's all we have for you today on Press Talk. You now know who your new service chiefs are. Let's pray for our service chiefs. Let's pray for our military. Let's pray for Nigeria. We'll do this again tomorrow. Do join us on this platform. And before then, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this good news on all social media platforms. You'll get us at Television Nigerian. And also we have an interesting lineup of programs, all designed and prepared with you in mind. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow. Before I leave, it's been Mr. Lawrence Audu. Thank you very much for coming on Press Talk.
Thank you so very much.
And also Engineer Dan Atai.
Thank you very much for having me.
And I've been Charles Ibe. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a lovely day.